What is up, everybody? Welcome to 10 Count Wrestling. I'm going to be reviewing AEW Dynamite on May 18th, 2022. That's the episode I will be reviewing. Anybody that's here, drop a comment in the live chat. I'm going to be interacting with y'all as much as I can. And since I'm by myself, I'm going to be interacting with y'all, having conversations about the show through the chat. So make sure you drop comments about what you thought about the show and all of that. So let's get into the first segment of Dynamite. So they opened up Dynamite. I want to add also, I was there at Dynamite. That's why I didn't do a review show last night. And I have a different opinion because I watched Rampage. And I think Rampage is really what kind of made me way more sour because I thought it was a very disappointing Rampage card. And the match quality was just not what I expected from the last few Rampages I've been to. But Dynamite itself, I thought was overall a pretty solid show. I thought the first hour was like really good, and everything up until Phoenix and Kyle O'Reilly. As soon as that ended, pretty much everything after that I did not love. Like there's nothing that I really liked that much. So starting with the beginning, we have the Joker taking on Samoa Joe. That Joker was Johnny Elite, John Morrison, Johnny Nitro, whatever you want to call him. That's who the Joker was. And I like that as a surprise. I was not expecting him, but a lot of people, I'm pretty sure in the crowd, saw Johnny and thought it was Gargano. And I think that's why the crowd originally popped. And then they kept the sustained pop because people I think were still excited to see Morrison. But the people next to me were like, oh, we all thought it was Gargano. And it ended up being Morrison. So I think that I would they probably knew what they were doing with that. Like when they did the Brock Anderson debut, we knew it wasn't gonna be Brock Lesnar, but they still said Brock Anderson. Just the way they do that. Jake Salazar saying, yeah, the train went off the rails at that point. Yeah, that's where I just kind of lost it. And I'll go through when we get there, I'll go through those segments that I did not find good. But the match, the same thing. I thought it was Gargano, but yeah, I like Morrison. I'm a fan of Morrison. I really liked what he was doing as Johnny Drip Drip. It was getting a little played out at the end. Sorry about that hair. It's not cooperating. I like the end. It got a little fizzled out and overplayed, but the rap songs were pretty funny. I thought he did good in the match against Bad Bunny. The drip sticks was stupid, but he made the best out of it, and that's something I think he consistently did in his run in WWE. The latest run in WWE. And so I'm interested to see what he does here in AEW. I would assume he's going to probably do some work in ROH. And I think that's a very good signing of a veteran, kind of like a Christian Cage, but maybe on a little lower level. He's probably not going to win a championship there, but he's there to help train people and put people over because he is a known name in wrestling. And I think that's a very good signing. I actually think overall it's a better signing than Johnny Gargano because I love Gargano, but I don't know what he provides on this roster right now. Just overall, I just don't think there's a spot for him. And I think Cesaro might have had a little bit of a better spot because I think he fits more of what AEW is doing with ROH. But I think that's where he would have fit more is in ROH, not really on AEW. I think Morrison fits more of okay, we need a veteran who knows TV, who can help some of those people who are still coming up. And I think he'll probably eventually go to coaching. That's what I would assume, which a lot of people are doing that. A lot of people that are the older talent are doing coaching as well as working in ring. So I think this is a great signing. The match itself was fine. Nothing really special. I was kind of zoned out because I was looking at Twitter the whole time, trying to be oh, what are people seeing? And I watched as much as I could. What I did what I did see, I liked, but it was there was a few spots that didn't land right. And so I think that's what kind of took me out. But the crowd was hot. The crowd being as hot as they were throughout that match is what kind of kept me very entertained and everything. And Jake saying Morrison can be there to help elevate younger talent. And I think at this point in his career, he knows that. So I think he doesn't mind. Yeah, I agree. Exactly. Yeah. That's exactly how I feel about Morrison being there. I think it's a really solid signing. And it's a good person who can come in as a debut and lose to Samoa Joe and not lose anything off of it. And we'll talk about Maki Ito and how I feel the complete opposite of that one a little bit. In terms of excitement, I feel the opposite. So Next up on Dynamite, they went right into Punk came out, and then they did Takeshita versus Hangman Page, and this was phenomenal. This was in my opinion the best match of the night. I thought it was a little better than Kyle and Phoenix. I thought this was just so good. Everything they did in it. A lot of people didn't really. Yeah, he killed his knees in a few things. He did I think he did a 450 that landed a little off. So he landed on his knees and then came crashing down onto Joe, and that looked painful. But back to the Takeshita match, a lot of people did not know who Takeshita was. And by the end, he started getting heat or getting reactions, and people were hot for him. And that's how you build a guy. You put him in a match with Hangman that a lot of people there probably have not really seen a lot of because he hasn't done a lot of work on Dynamite or Rampage. I know he wrestled Lethal. I think he had a match last week on Rampage as well, if I remember correctly. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like he had a quick match last week on Rampage, but I could be completely wrong. I didn't watch last week's Rampage. But I thought this was fantastic. Worked really well. The face-off at the end between... the one thing I didn't like about the match that Sean said as well, I don't like no selling on Germans. I thought it worked better in this than I've seen in the past, but those were some nasty Germans. They were neck head landing Germans, and that's the ones I don't like. If they were the easier kind of roll off ones that you go kind of a little lower on a little higher on your back, more on your shoulders. Those ones I'm a little better with just bouncing right up off of and doing the no sell to get into the spot you want to. Those they were on their damn heads. I thought Takeshita was dead after the first one. He pulled a damn Kota Ibushi landing on his head and being fine right after. Kota does the same thing, and it scares me, but oh well. He's gonna do it. I can't argue it. I just gotta enjoy it. Jake Salazar saying Takeshita's phenomenal. I think he will be champion at one point because he's really amazing. 100%. I'd be surprised if he's not champion sometime soon. I think the TNT title is right up his alley. If they decide this is a guy we want long term, that's definitely a belt for him. That and bring it back to the workhorse belt. That's what I want out of the TNT title. There's nothing TNT title to talk about on Dynamite. There was stuff on Rampage, but I'm not going to get into it because you guys haven't seen it yet. So I'm not going to go on my rants about the TNT title. I don't have a rundown of the show. I'm going by the memory of my head. I'm pretty sure next was Swerve and Keith Lee, if I'm correct. Jake Salazar saying it's a strength for me because Hangman is not a light dude at all. Yeah, no. Takeshita is surprisingly big. The Japanese talents are usually not that big like that. You look at Okada and Ibushi, they're not massive guys. And Takeshita's got some weight on him, which I think is going to help him a lot in the future, where some Japanese talent did not get over in the US because they're not as big and not as bulky. I think Takeshita's size is what's going to make him stand out among Japanese talent in the US and in US wrestling. So, yeah, I think next is Swerve. That's what I'm going to talk about because that's the thing I remember as being next. Fine. I like the Workhorsemen. I think they're pretty entertaining. But this was really just about getting Swerve and Keith Lee a win here. Good. Worked. And then the promo after was good. Setting up a triple threat. My only issue is that they did a triple threat for the tag titles at the last pay-per-view. This one had more build because the last one was win a battle royal and then win the casino battle royal. And so it's a different build, but I'm also not a fan of running the same sort of gimmick back 2 pay-per-views in a row. I'd rather them have done maybe do the triple threat, do the triple threat among do an elimination triple threat. Do Jungle Boy versus Ricky versus Swerve. It's a triple threat elimination, and whoever is out first, I don't know, figure it out. Just do a number 1 contenders match. Just do a rematch between Swerve, Hobbs, and no, not Swerve, Hobbs. Hobbs and I don't know. I'm exhausted. Hockey's taken a lot out of me tonight, and do something. I'm not the booker. I'm not the booker here. You're the booker. Yes, Jake, thank you. I'm gonna get back on track now without not trying to book this show because I'm too tired to do it. I think Keith and Swerve are winning the belts as well. I would not mind if Team Taz won it, but I do think it's time for Keith and Swerve to get the titles. They have not been in AEW for long, but I don't care. Like, they're already two of the top guys. Give them titles immediately. And they don't need to have them for long. I think they can lose fairly soon to a heel team if you want to do that. Because I don't like, because they're a makeshift team, right? They're a makeshift team. I wouldn't keep the titles on them permanently, especially since I consider Jurassic Express to be sort of a makeshift team too. But I think they're a good, like, okay, let's put it on some new people for a little bit, run with them throughout the summer, and then let's give it to a heel team, possibly. And then you can do a Lee and Swerve's like story right there. Turn Swerve heel because he killed it in NXT as a heel. So then you're going up the next, before that was the MJF whippings, the lashings. That's what I missed the segment. I'm pretty sure the MJF lashings was what came before. And like, it was really good. Like, I really enjoyed it. No, I don't even have an issue. I really like this segment. I've been complaining about a lot of the stuff so far. This one I have no complaints about. I'm not even going to talk about it. It was really good. Like, that's like the best storytelling in AEW right now is that story. I don't think there's any other really like, for me, there's no other story going into Double or Nothing that's actually been like legit built as a feud other than this. Punk and Hangman's not, it's just like a number one contender. Like, they've tried doing some stuff, but it's still not really a feud. Devin Rosa is not really a feud, just a number one contender. There's a feud for the tag championships, but that's mainly between the two challengers, not really the champions. The champions are just kind of there in limbo, which is why I would have maybe had Jurassic Express lose it, like have them lose like 2 weeks before, and then you just just don't do Jurassic Express in the match. Just take the titles off of them a few weeks before that. Because they're not, like, they were kind of just thrown into the feud at kind of like the last second. I don't think they really needed to be in this feud between Hobbs, Starks, Lee, and Swerve. I think you could have just done that and put the titles on them. I digress. But the MJF Wardlow stuff, really good. The Wardlow chants are insane. They are some of the loudest pops, like the loudest crowd reactions you're hearing right now at AEW shows. It is awesome to see that. So then after that, we had the Swerve stuff. And then at the top of the hour, they went into... I think that's when they went into Kyle O'Reilly and Phoenix. And I really need to pull up a rundown, but I'm not going to. I'm going to run with it off the top of my mind. Kyle O'Reilly and Phoenix was, Jake, you're saying the exact same thing. WCW Goldberg, yes, that's what they're doing. And it's working really, really well, I think. But yeah, like the next thing they had was Kyle O'Reilly taking on Ray Phoenix. I thought it was interesting that Phoenix had his own music. I don't think we've seen that music in AEW. Correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like we haven't. And if we have, the last time we would have, because I thought he came out to the Lucha Bros theme when he came out during his match with Dante. But yeah, I like that he has music. It was fine. I didn't really get to listen to it much, but the match itself was pretty good. I really liked, I absolutely loved the finish of going into going into that cutter type thing, the cutter move that he does as his finisher, like one of his finishers. But Kyle gets it midair, blocks in the armbar. That was just a really good finish. I thought these two styles, I was interested to see how they'd work together. You have a submission base and you have a high flyer. And that's interesting. Like, Phoenix isn't really known for working with technical guys like Kyle O'Reilly. It's not really like what he's known. Like the matches, you look at what he's known for, the matches with the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega. Like those are his most famous matches, especially in AEW. And those are all high flying people. So I was interested to see how this was going to work. And I thought they were able to play off the styles very well together. There were like one or two kicks that didn't land great, but as me in the crowd, I didn't notice it until people posted on Twitter. So I don't really care. I had fun. I like that Kyle won. I wanted Kyle to win because I think he should win the tournament, in my opinion. I think he's the person, like, unless it's like, I'll be fine with Adam Cole as well, but I really want Kyle and Adam in the finals. Probably not doing it, but Kyle should have won here. I think a technical wrestler is someone who should get far in the Owen, and Kyle is the only technical wrestler left. I would not consider Joe a technical wrestler, and I would not consider Adam Cole a technical wrestler whatsoever. So he's the only technical guy left. So I think he is someone who should be left at this stage. I really like that. Great match. Now we get into what I did not like about the show. Pretty much every segment after this, I did not like. I did not like Joss and Regal. I didn't mind Jericho's promo. Regal lost the fans real quick, and I don't think he should have spoke. I also think the segment went on way too long. It was a lot of talking, and the fans did not want to see that much talking. I think we all just wanted to see some fighting. But you don't, like, this is I like Regal. I'm a massive Regal fan. I like when Regal talks. I don't think you needed Regal to speak in this segment. I think Moxley and Eddie are the two people you should have had speak, and that's it. Nobody else, like them two, and then Jericho. Like, I didn't need the toothbrush stuff. I didn't need the drug digs. I think it makes sense for the heel character, but I didn't need it. And Regal said something about dying orphanage kids, which a lot of people, I don't think they like listen, because nobody's talking about that line. Like, why did that? It was a really dark line. I did not need to hear that. But yeah, this segment didn't really do it for me, to be honest. It was not my thing. And yeah, we're getting I think they're calling it Anarchy in the Arena, is kind of like what they're hinting at, is what we're going to get, which I'm pretty sure is just going to be like a street fight, Falls Count Anywhere type, like hardcore match. So I'm interested, though. Like, I'm excited to see the match. Hopefully Danielson's not injured and can do it. So yeah, I didn't see that. I was gone by the time they did like the post-match brawl on Rampage, but everybody's talking about the Danielson injury. So I hope he's fine. But yeah, going from disappointment to disappointment, we had Britt Baker taking on the Joker. And look, I like Maki Ito. I think she's entertaining. I've defended her. She should not have been the Joker. First off, Tony said it was debuts. Maki Ito, I'm fairly confident, did a match on Dynamite. I know Sean said she didn't, and I'm 99% sure I was there. No, wait, it might have been on Elevation. It might have been on Elevation at the tapings for Dynamite. I don't know. She's been in AEW, so I still consider it like not a debut. And a lot of people didn't really, and the crowd did not know who she was. And everyone, like, you're in Texas. You're expecting Athena. She's from Texas. She's trained in Houston, the city that you are in. She's trained there. Everybody loves her. And you didn't do that. And I think you don't have to do Athena. I'm not saying you have to give fans the highest possible surprise, but I don't think that this was I think they should have just announced it on YouTube, or announced it like on TNT to say Maki Ito is returning to the States. Because the other issue I have is everybody else had to qualify. Britt Baker had to qualify. Tony Storm had to qualify. All these, like Jamie Hayter, everybody had to qualify to get in. But Maki Ito didn't. And she is not, like, she's not great. Like, she doesn't really get a ton of wins. I think she lost in the first or second round in the Eliminator match, or the tournament they did last year going into Revolution. So I'm not really sure. Like, I just didn't love it. The match itself, they couldn't get me. I was just kind of disappointed, to be honest. So yeah, that's all I'm going to say. Like, it was just really disappointing. I was way more sour last night, and then I was able to cool down today, and now I'm just kind of tired. It's the end of the day. Been up a while. So AEW is lucky that I'm not like going on my rants that I did last night, because last night I was pissed on my drive. Because the next segment is everyone knows that bad segment between Deeb and Rosa, and it was just not good. The stuff in the promo, and this is what Will Washington said it really well on Day After Dynamite today. He said, like, the stuff in the promo was fine. It's the delivery that was like really off. And Deeb just doesn't do it for me as a promo. In the ring, she's phenomenal, but she's not a good promo. So I don't know why you'd put her out there in Houston cutting a promo in the like death spot. I don't know. I think it was just kind of set up to fail there. And I did not care about the stuff with Dustin. You don't need to involve Dustin in this storyline whatsoever. I think if they did this storyline similar to how they're doing Hangman and Punk, I think this would work a lot better because they're just out there wrestling while the other guy's on commentary. Why aren't Rosa and Deeb doing similar things? Like, they don't need to be on commentary. I think Rosa would be good on commentary. I don't know. I don't think Deeb will be that great, but you can just have Rosa winning matches dominantly and have Deeb continue the 5-minute challenge. Why did they stop that? They have not done the 5-minute challenge since the Rampage before Revolution. That was over 2 months ago. I think it's 2 months and 2 weeks since they did the 5-minute challenge for Deeb. I don't know why they stopped that. You could have kept it going. Just got to get enhancement talent. It's not hard to find if you're in Texas. I can name you 50 in Texas. Go get Maddie Rinkowski. Go get Jasmine Allure. There's so many good talent that were at Mission Pro Wrestling. You can get one of the Renegade twins. They've been on your show before. There's a lot of talent in Texas that have worked for you on Elevation, on Dark, and have done Dynamite Rampage squashes. Go grab those girls. They're very talented. Let them get like 2 minutes of shine against Rosa or against Deeb. I'm sure Rosa will be able to get some of the Mission Pro wrestlers there. They'd love to do it. I don't know why they don't do that with the women. They consistently set the women up to fail. And that's my issue with Maki Ito. I felt like they were setting them up to fail. I know a lot of the hardcore fans they really like Maki Ito. A lot of the hardcore AEW fans. She's popular with them, but she's not popular to a lot of people. She is I'm looking at this objectively. She is a very divisive wrestler. A lot of people don't get the gimmick. A lot of people look at her in-ring and say, I don't like it. Just overall, I don't think that was the correct decision to make as a surprise in Houston, the same city Athena trained in. I think it's another example of being set up to fail. And that's my issue with what AEW is doing with the women is they're not giving them good segments, but that's not the biggest issue I have. It's that they're not being set up to succeed. And I will continue to complain about this until this gets fixed because I know people were on Twitter saying, oh, the AEW crowd doesn't care about women. And I call complete bullshit because I was there. I saw Mercedes Martinez get a very big pop in her Ring of Honor championship match that she had on Elevation. I saw Sky Blue, Yuka Sakazaki, Nyla Rose, and Emi Sakura get really good crowd reactions in their tag match on Dark Elevation. So the women are getting good reactions. The issue is when you give them dog shit feuds. And you put them in bad spots. That is when fans don't care. Fans will care when you give them things to care about. And they did not care in this instance. Again, I like Maki Ito. I know a lot of people like Maki Ito. I don't think it worked. I don't think this was the place to do it just because I think you play with the fan expectations. And it is a fan issue. It's 100. I think it's 100% a fan issue. But you need to, you can't say that AEW caters to the hardcore fans without saying, I'm trying to think of how to put this. A lot of people like AEW for catering to the fans and giving fans what they want. And Jake's saying, I don't get her at all. She's weird to me. I like her. I think she's entertaining. But AEW, everyone cannot, everyone praises AEW for listening to the fans. But then those are the same people who are defending AEW for bringing in Maki Ito and saying, oh, they shouldn't expect... fans should not expect the biggest signings. They can't be every time. You cannot have both of those views. You cannot believe that AEW will listens to the fans all the time and will give the fans what they want. But they did not give the fans what they wanted here. I know a lot of people are trying to be oh, I like Maki Ito. I'm fine with this. No, I think it's just an excuse. No, this was not. It wasn't good. I'm sorry. I don't think this was good. I thought this was really bad. Having Maki Ito as the Joker, I think was a very big disappointment. A lot of people I got a guy next to me. He goes, "Oh, I hope this is a squash match," because he was pissed off about Maki Ito being there. I think this was just a bad decision, really bad decision. I'm fine with Maki being in the tournament. Announce her beforehand. Don't do the surprise. That's my long-winded rant about that. And then the main event, Adam Cole taking on Jeff Hardy. This felt extremely rushed. I did not care about the match because I knew Adam Cole was winning, and I don't really care about Jeff Hardy at this point. I thought Darby should have won, and I still believe that because that would have been a lot better match to see Adam Cole taking on Darby Allin. That would have been a really good match. I don't know why Jeff Hardy won, and I don't like the decision. Not a fan. Not a fan of that. And then that's all I'm going to say. The other thing I'm going to go on about is I don't like what they've done with the Owen. I think it's been done pretty terribly. I think they were because they said for a while they weren't going to start the tournament until they got to UBS. And I think once they got there, they realized oh, we need to start rushing things. And they had to replace Shido with Statlander. And they had to start all of a sudden putting things a little fast. Why did they do a semifinal on the same night that they did 2 quarterfinals matches for the men? That doesn't really happen a lot. I think, and I think it's they might have overestimated the amount of time they would have for the Owen. And then overall, in general, I don't think they gave us the best Owen possible. I don't think Jeff Hardy needed to be in this tournament whatsoever. Why don't where is Andrade? Where's Andrade been since he lost to Darby? You could have had Darby versus Andrade be an Owen Hart match. Put that in the Owen. You could have done one of those as an Owen. It can still, if you want to do the coffin match, you can still do the coffin match. But just put it in the Owen. You can do it. Put it as part of the Owen. Figure it out. You're the booker, not me. You can do better situations with this. And then I think you could have brought in a lot more people. They have such a good roster, and there's so many people I'm looking at, and I'm why aren't they in the Owen? Why isn't Lee you could have put a guy like a Lee Moriarty in the Owen? I thought that could have been a really good chance for him to shine. Daniel Garcia, I know he's in this the stuff with Joss. Still throw him in there. You can still do it because Phoenix is in the stuff with House of Black, and he was in there. And Kyle O'Reilly's in his little feud with all the guys, and he was in there. Same with Jeff Hardy. And Samoa Joe's in a feud, and he's still in the Owen. He's still surviving in the Owen. He's going to the semifinal, and he could be going to the finals. You can have people in feuds and still put them in the Owen. I think you can do both of those at the same time. You could have put Wheeler Yuta. Why don't you throw it needs to be people who can lose, and you're not going to it's not going to be terrible for them to lose. But I think Wheeler Yuta can lose. I don't think there's any issue. And of course, now my Wi-Fi is going down, which I think means it's time for me to start wrapping this up. So I've gone 30 minutes ranting about AEW. But overall, I just they could have brought in a lot of other women, put Willow in the tournament. I know they did the qualifier with her, but find a way. Where's Penelope Ford? Why isn't she in the tournament? Why don't you put Trish Adora in the tournament? Why don't you go down to Mission Pro? Go grab some of those great wrestlers down there. Go grab great wrestlers who are on the independent circuit and put them in. You have some people who have done some ROH work. Go to Impact. Be hey, Impact, we want to put Taya Valkyrie. We want to put Deonna Purrazzo. They have options. They just don't. I don't know if they just decided not to do it or they tried and couldn't get it done. But if I don't really know what it is there, because I just look at this tournament and I've been very disappointed so far in what I've seen. I think they could have done a much better job at doing the tournament. I think it's been really disappointing in my opinion. I think it should have been they should have started this either right after Revolution or start it in April. That way you're not having so many tournament matches on every week, and it's taking up so much of the TV time to where you cannot develop all the other stories going into the pay-per-view. You don't have enough time to develop the stories. So that's my biggest issue is now you're at the point where you have a Rampage, which I've already seen. I'm not going to say anything about it, but you have 2 more shows. You have one more Dynamite and one more Rampage that have not been taped yet going into the pay-per-view. And the only feud that I think there's 2 feuds I think are solidified good going into the pay-per-view. And that's Hangman and Punk and MJF and Wardlow. Everything else I don't think has had enough time to really breathe the way it needed to. And I get this for a lot of the AEW pay-per-views, but this one I feel more about because usually AEW we'll get close to the pay-per-views, and they have a lot of stuff they still got to get to and get these matches figured out. But for this one, they got close to the pay-per-view, but they didn't figure out the stories. They said, oh, we got to do the Owen. We got to get the Owen done. Oh, yeah, we didn't start this when we should have. We waited too long. That's my issue, is like, you waited way too long to do the Owen. You should have started this thing much earlier than when they did. But yeah, that's my 30-minute rant on AEW. Thank you, Jake Salazar. I know you were in here. Anybody else that joined, thank you guys for joining. And yeah, I'm going to go watch some hockey, and hopefully I'm not sour. There you guys.